Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. Southampton won, Manchester United won. Fourth game into the Premier League season. I think we've had a bad start to this season. Obviously started the season off well with 4-0 victory over Chelsea. Then of course dropping 2 points away from home against Wolves. Then dropping all 3 points against Crystal Palace at home, losing to them for the first time in our Premier League history. Now of course dropping another 2 points today away to Southampton. And now I think Ole Gunnar Solsjaker will be under pressure. Obviously we do know that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker had rotated the squad today, because obviously we've got quite a few injuries. Solskjaer did go with a 4-2-3-1. I did say he will go that formation on a regular basis this season. So he went with David De Gea in goal. Of course he went with Wan-Bissaka at right back. Obviously it was Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. That were the centre back partnerships and that. Obviously we saw Ash Young at left back. He obviously of course was the captain today, because obviously we had Luke Shaw out through injury. I think he's out with a hamstring injury, and I think he's out until October. Obviously we also know that Diego Dalot is out with injury. Obviously in the midfield went with Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. Obviously he's been going mainly so far this season with Pogba and McTominay in that midfield. Obviously the three attacking midfielders, he went with Andres Pereira. He got given a chance today. I think he started one match in the number 10. I think he actually dropped Jesse Lingard. He didn't start the game due to his inconsistency so far this season. He put Daniel James on the right. I think Daniel James started on that right hand side, and of course Rashford was playing up top, because obviously Anthony Martial is out with thigh injury and that. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had rotated the squad a little bit, but I thought we was unlucky not to win that game today. I thought in the first half we played really well. I had a glimpse of some of the highlights and that, but I thought in the first half we pressed really well. And I just looked at some of the stats. I think we created quite a lot of chances in the game. I think we created around 19 chances. I think we had around 21 shots in total and that. But in the first half I thought we pressed really well. I thought we kept the ball well. I thought we looked good out on wide positions. I just don't think when we had them moments in the first half though, wasn't clinical enough, wasn't dynamic enough in the final third as we should be in that. But we was unlucky not to be winning more than 1-0 at half time, because the first half I thought we dominated. I thought Southampton had a late flurry towards the end of the first half and that, but I thought in the first half, we was the better team, but we did take the lead in the 10th minute mark, with Daniel James, and I think Daniel James has had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career so far. He's scored 3 goals so far this season. I still say he's a prospect and needs time to develop, and that Daniel James, and I still think there's improvements needed in his game. His crossing and that needs to improve in that, but Daniel James's goal, was very good. It was a good assist from Scott McTominay where he got the assist, and I think he actually caught it in from his right foot, Daniel James, and it was a very good finish, and obviously that was 1-0 and that. But you can quite frankly say that Rashford had probably cost us the 3 points today, because Rashford didn't latch onto enough of the crosses like we're putting, because there was a lot of crosses and that in the game. Rashford had quite a few chances himself. Daniel James had quite a few opportunities, so he could have had more than 1 goal today in that. But yeah, we was actually unlucky not to win that game today. And then obviously, in the second half, obviously, Southampton got level, just before the hour mark. They got level, through Yannick Vestergaard. It was a good header, to be quite honest with you, so I will credit him in that aspect. Lindelof, should have really done better. Yannick Vestergaard, beat Lindelof in the air from Kevin Danso's crossing that, and then Southampton, of course, got on level terms. But I think Southampton, played quite well in the second half. They had quite a few chances and that. Obviously, Southampton as well went down to 10 men. Kevin Danso had 2 yellow cards, so he obviously got currently sent off in that. I do believe also Ash Young picked a slight injury up in the game. I also believe he got booked in the game. Young, I think also Harry Maguire had obviously received yellow card in that. Obviously we brought some substitutions on in the second half. Obviously we saw McTominay come off. I don't think McTominay had a bad game today, to be quite honest. He came off. Andres Pereira came off. I think Andres Pereira enjoyed a difficult afternoon today as well. And then we saw Juan Mata, of course, come off, and we saw Jesse Lingard come on, we saw Matic come on, and of course we saw Mason Greenwood come on. But Mason Greenwood has yet to start a game from the start for Manchester Manchester United. So he has so far made 4 substitute appearances as Mason Green. But Solskjaer did say at the start of the season he's going to be assured more playing time this season. Is Mason Greenwood and that. So yeah, so there were basically the substitutions. So the game did end 1-1, but we still remain unbeaten against Southampton at St Mary's. Since 2003 and that. But like I said, the pressure now will be on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But I did say I have seen slight improvements this season, but not much improvements. We do look slightly better in the attacking third of the pitch, but for me, we're still, we're not being clinical enough and that. And I think we need someone in. What?
It would have won all draw.
I know.
We're fucking rubbish, us.
I think we need someone in, who can actually, create more chances. I think we need to see more leadership in that in the team. We need to see someone, who's good at taking, who's better from set pieces and all that. But yeah, there is problems in the squad, and I think, furthermore investment is needed into the squad in the January transfer window. I think we also probably need to do more investment next summer and that, because I did say, we are lacking in that midfield, and it was a shame that we didn't address that midfield, throughout the course of the summer transfer window. I'm happy, we did recommend 3 good signings in. We obviously, got Daniel James in. Obviously, he's had a fantastic start to his Man United career. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka in that. I think he's overall had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. With Harry Maguire, I think he will still succeed at Manchester United. So I haven't really got any concern elements about him. But, I've seen slight improvements this season, but not much improvements, from last season. That, last season was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th. Obviously, we didn't win many silverware, and of course, we failed to qualify for the Champions League. And that went against us, in the summer transfer window. It went against us, so they did say, certain players, would have had reservations about joining the football club, obviously, of our failure, to qualify for the Champions League and that. But now the pressure, will be mounting on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I did say that I'm very, very hopeful that it can work out under Solskjaer and that, there's a lot of people, vast majority of Man United fans, criticising his tactics and that. And, I love him a lot, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like I said, we're not really known for a sacking club, and I said, we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking managers and that, because obviously we've already sacked 3 managers, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. Obviously, Solskjaer is our current 4th manager and that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'll credit him, he does have a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players and that. This is why, of course, they are given the opportunity. But like I said, we just didn't do enough business, throughout the course of the summer and that. We just didn't do enough business, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had spoken with Ed Woodward about the lack of business in the current transfer market, of course. And I did say, we haven't been good away from home anywhere. Our away record has been very, very poor. But this was a game, Manchester United had to win today. And I did say our expectations this season, will be probably, to finish in that top 4 and that. And I did initially say our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons and that. And obviously, like I said, Solskjaer's got to exceed expectation levels this season, because if he doesn't, the pressure, will be mounting up on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But I did say it's going to take at least 2-3 years, maybe, to mount any kind of title challenge up, or of course win the league and that. Because analysing our squad at the moment, it isn't good enough, to win the league. I did literally say at the start of the season, it is good enough for a top 4 finish is our squad, but it isn't good enough, of course, to win the league. But I did say the dimension of this football club, the history of this football club, we should be up there competing, and of course we should be up there, winning silverware and that. And we haven't done this in the last 6 years or so. We haven't done this in the last 6 years or so, and 4 games in, like I said, we've only managed 7 goals so far in 4 games, 4 against Chelsea, 1 against Wolves, 1 against Palace, and of course only 1 today against Southampton. So that just indicates that we're not being clinical enough in front of goal, we're not scoring enough goals, and it just replicates last season, because we didn't score enough goals last season. We only managed 53 goals last season. We conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games last season, and that was our highest total, of course, in 40 years. But, analysing it throughout pre-season, I thought, we did really, really well throughout pre-season. Won 6 games out of 6, 12 goals scored, only 1 goal conceded. But pre-season, is meaningless, to be quite honest. And when we beat Chelsea 4-0 on the opening day of the season, I thought, we was going to have a good season this season. But, since then, it's just seemed to have all gone wrong and that. And, we're dropping points and that. We're creating chances. And this is something we did last season, was creating chances. But we just wasn't, clinical enough in the attacking third end of the pitch and that. And I did say, say now, we have got that pace up front, so there isn't really any excuse now. We've got that pace up front, and that's something we lacked last season, that pace, and this is why I wasn't scoring enough goals and that. But you've got Daniel James with electrifying pace, you've got Rashford and that with good pace and that. Rashford, I think he's had a pretty decent start to this season as Rashford. Obviously missed a penalty against Crystal Palace in that. But Rashford, I thought you can say he cost us that game today. But when Rashford's on form, he's good at receiving the ball, he's good at getting them runs in behind him and all that. But he just wasn't, clinical enough today. Was Marcus Rashford, and it was a shame that Anthony Martial was out, because you could have said if he'd have played, he could have made the difference. Because I think Martial started this season really, really well, and obviously Martial has been given that number 9 shirt. Obviously, he's playing more central this season because he does seem to be more effective in that position. But obviously Martial's out. I think it did say early on this week that his injury was going to be further assessed, but I don't know how severe his injury is. I hope it's not too severe, because he is very, very imperative player, is Anthony Martial. But obviously Martial and Rashford anyway, they were both inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season, and they got a lot of criticism, but I still said at that point they are the long-term solutions for Man United, because Martial and Rashford of course are developing really, really well. With Jesse Lingard, like I said, he did come on in the game today, but he didn't start, due to his inconsistency. And again, Lingard was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season. But I still said, he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. Mainly, Jesse Lingard is first choice over Juan Mata, basically. But obviously, Juan Mata got given the start today, and that even though Juan Mata is no longer first choice. But like I said, I still believe, obviously a lot of players now have left the football, well, quite a lot have left the football club, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival and that, and I do believe more players still need to leave, Obviously Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we saw Ander Herrera, of course, leave the football club again. That was another problem, throughout the course of summer. We didn't recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. We saw Marian Fellaini leave the football club. Obviously, we saw Ronald Lukaku, of course, leave the football club a couple of weeks ago, and I think in that aspect it was good business from the club, generating a substantial amount, for the flop basically, and it was good to see us recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago and that. We didn't even get a replacement for Lukaku, but I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, had explained, he gave his overarching view on it, saying he explained why we didn't get that replacement for Lukaku, obviously to prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood. Obviously Alexis Sanchez, of course, has gone. That was good business for Manchester United, because obviously Sanchez was one of the problematic players in the football club. He's joined Inter Milan on loan, and it was pointless Sanchez, being here anyway, because Sanchez endured a difficult 18 months, with a football club. He endured difficult 18 months with a football club, and that, he lacked goals and that. He was so inconsistent, never really was a first choice anywhere. He only scored 5 goals in 45 games in all competitions for Man United. Sanchez only managed 3 goals in 32 appearances, did Alexis Sanchez. Of course, in the Premier League. He was still in the contract with Man United till 2022, but he has gone to Inter Milan on loan. Obviously, we're still paying the majority of his wages, don't forget, so he's still classified as the second highest paid player at Manchester United, so we're still giving him around 300 grand a week. Inter Milan, I think, are paying him around 4.5 million of his 21 million annual salary in that, so he has gone to Inter Milan on loan, but there is no option to buy, or there's no obligation for Inter Milan to make the deal permanent next summer. So after his 10-month loan with Inter Milan, he could possibly make a return to Manchester United and that, but I don't think we'd accept him back anywhere. And I did say the only way we would have got rid of him, which we have done, is getting him out on loan, because I did say I would have found it difficult to get rid of him permanently, due to his substantial wages, because I did say when Sanchez was here, his wages were having a really bad effect on the football club and that. And obviously I did say Sanchez was behind the likes of Daniel James, Martial, Rashford, Mason Greenwood and that, so obviously he would have found game time very difficult anyway. And he did say if Sanchez would have stayed anywhere, he only would have been playing in the Europa League and the Carabao Cup, and like I did say, he didn't have a future at the club anyway. He's 30 years of age, Sanchez. He's actually 31 in December, but he didn't live up to expectation levels at Manchester United, as we all thought he would have done, because he did have 3.5 good years of Arsenal where he scored more than 70 goals, or was it more than 70 goals? He even did well at Barcelona when he was younger, did Alexis Sanchez, and he played under Pep Guardiola's guidance, but just didn't replicate any of this form at Manchester United, and that, so it was a huge disappointment. And Sanchez, of course, has also won the Copa America twice with Chile, and obviously, Sanchez wasn't part of the pre-season squad, didn't play in any of our 3, Premier League games and all that. Didn't play in any of them. But, Sanchez had been on Copa America duty, throughout pre-season. He'd been on Copa America duty, where he actually, sustained a hamstring injury. So he actually, was below on his fitness anyway. But I think Sanchez probably will do well with Inter Milan, because obviously the Italian football is actually, slower, than English football and that. And I think that will suit, Alexis Sanchez more. And obviously he's already had experience of playing in Italy anyway, because don't forget he had around 3 years with Underneath, of course, when he was younger and that. So I am glad, that Alexis Sanchez left the football club. Obviously, that got confirmed early on this week. Obviously, Chris Smalling as well. He's now officially joined Roma on loan. That got confirmed yesterday. Chris Smalling had travelled to Italy. It got confirmed yesterday. He travelled to Italy to finalise his loan move to Roma. Again, Roma are paying us just under £3 million. They've paid us just under £3 million to take him out on loan, even though initially, we was demanding around just over £18 million for Chris Smalling. But again, there is it's without a buy option, or there's no obligation, for Roma to make the deal permanent after his loan spell with Roma and that. So possibly after the loan, Chris Smalling, could return to Manchester United and that. But I'm glad, in a way that we've got rid of Chris Smalling, because obviously, he's behind the pecking order now. Well, he was down the pecking order, was Chris Smalling, basically, following the arrival of Harry Maguire and that. Obviously, Chris Smalling, was a long-serving player at the football club. He served 9 years with Manchester United. He nearly served a decade at the club. Obviously, Chris Smalling made over 300 appearances for Manchester United in all competitions. Obviously, he won everything here, domestically. He won 2 Premier Leagues. He won the FA Cup, the League Cup, and of course the Europa League with us, and that did Smalling. Obviously, he only renewed his contract, back in December of last year. So Chris Smalling was under contract with Man United until 2022. And I think Chris Smalling anyway now is around 29 years of age. But I did say anyway, he was no longer good enough, to represent Manchester United, because I did say we've got a lot of centre backs. Even with Chris Smalling gone now, we have still got around 6 centre backs. Don't forget. But like I said, it was pointless Chris Smalling being here anyway, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice is Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof and that. And I did say I do believe they're going to complement each other, fantastically well and that. I think Victor Lindelof, I thought he had a pretty bad game today, to be quite honest. Yeah, also had a pretty bad game against Crystal Palace and that. But I still believe, Victor Lindelof is flourishing at Manchester United. I'll be honest with you, there is still question marks around him. Can he keep the consistency up and that? Victor Lindelof and that. He's in his 3rd season now as a Manchester United player. Obviously, Harry Maguire is the best option than what we've got in our central defensive area, of course, at this present time. And we did overpay for Harry Maguire. We definitely overpaid for him. We paid £80 million for him. Obviously, he's our 2nd most expensive signing, just behind Paul Pogba, who we paid £89 million for. Obviously, Harry Maguire is the most expensive defender in the world. So we did overpay for him. But I did say, in these markets, at this day and age, you've got to overpay for players and that. And I think that Harry Maguire, did well in his debut against Chelsea. Didn't do too bad against Wolves. Wasn't so good today, in my opinion. Don't think he was too well against Crystal Palace. I don't think he was poor, but I don't think he was good in that. But I still believe he will succeed at Manchester United, Harry Maguire as well. But we've got a history, of spending big on players. We've overpaid for players. We've obviously, we give players a big contract and all that. But like I said, we're a massive club. We've got massive revenues, and obviously, we can afford to do this. But this is what I don't get about Man United. In this aspect, it's bad business. What we do is we overpay for players, and then when they go, we'll let them go for next to nothing. So really, that doesn't really make much sense in that. But yeah, I'm pretty delighted, anyway, that Chris Smalling has gone. And in his 9 years with Man United, we saw glimpses, of how good he can be in that. I thought towards the back end of last season, Chris Smalling, did quite well. But it was bad business from us, anyway, giving him a new long-term contract in the first place. Obviously, my opinions on Phil Jones is I think, he should have really gone. I know he's going to be staying at the football club, Phil Jones. He's another one of the problematic players at Manchester United. He's been another long-serving player. He's been at the club now nearly a decade. I think Jones now is into his 9th season as a Manchester United player and all that. But again, he's going to find game time very, very difficult this season. Maybe in the cup games, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, may rotate a little bit in that. But Jones is another very, very inconsistent player. He recently, got his contract renewed, did Phil Jones. Obviously, Marcus Rojo, I'm surprised he didn't participate today because obviously, following the injury of Luke Shaw and Dalot and that, I thought maybe Rojo, could have got given the chance, but obviously it was, Ash Young that played at left back instead. Obviously, Rojo can play centrally, he can also play on the left-hand side, so Rojo, his versatility, and that's really, really good. I think a number of clubs have been in for Marcus Rojo. I think it did say Marcella, Monaco, and AC Milan, I think, have been in for him, but Solskjaer's confirmed now that he's definitely staying at the football club. Is Marcus Rojo. We do know that Everton inquired about getting Rojo on deadline day, but obviously, Everton, didn't currently get him. I think we put around the £25 million valuation on Rojo. He's just got under 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, don't forget. I think he's made about 70 odd appearances in the Premier League, for the club and that. But I think, with Marcus Rojo, his Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he has sustained. So I think that's really taken its toll on him. I think Rojo is also, aging up now. But I think, he's another one of the problematic players that does obviously need to leave Manchester United and that. With Alex Tuanzebe, he didn't play today, but I think he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. I do believe, he should get given his chances, Alex Tuanzebe. Obviously, he's gained a bit of that experience as Tuanzebe. He gained it last season, obviously on his loan spell with Aston Villa, where he was actually, quite impressive in that. So I do believe, he should get given his chances this season. Obviously, Eric Bay, he's out until Christmas time. Don't forget, he's got a knee injury in that. And again, I think if the right offer came in for Eric Bay, we probably would consider offloading him, even though he's an imperative player. He has got great potential, but again, he's injury prone, is Eric Bay, and I think it's really had a bad effect on his Manchester United career. I think this is now his 4th season as a Manchester United player, is Eric Bay's and that, and but yeah, I think his Man United career has been mainly affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained and that. So yeah, analysing it, we have got a lot of central defence and that. So throughout the course of summer, I'm happy that we got that experienced centre half in. I'm happy that we got that right back in and that. But I'm just disappointed that we didn't address that midfield and that, because that midfield does really really concern me in that. To be fair to McTominay, where I will praise him, I think he's had a fantastic start this season so far to this season. I think he's had a great start. I think he also did well throughout pre-season. That McTominay, I think McTominay made his 51st appearance today for Man United in all competitions. As you all know, he made his 50th against Crystal Palace and that. And I think he's actually looked quite good alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield. But obviously, with McTominay, I'm sceptical about him. I don't know if he's got all the attributes to succeed at Manchester United. So I have still got a slight element of concern about him. But it was good to see him, provide an assist today for Daniel James' opening goal and that. But when McTominay plays well, he can play between the lines well. He can defend and that, really really well. And I thought he played pretty well in that first half, today. Did McTominay, in my opinion, and that. In my opinion, and all that. And but yeah, we still obviously need to address that midfield. But I think the vast majority of Man United fans, including me, give the board a lot of criticism. We've also demanded Ed Woodward out of the football club. We've also demanded the Glazers out of the football club and all that, because I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years or so. But Solskjaer didn't get all the players that he did want in and that. And I think at the start of the season, the board did basically say that Solskjaer's job should be safe for at least this season, regardless of what happens, as long as we're not in relegation, or as long as we're not in that mid-table and all, as long as we're not mid-table and all that. But I think we've had a really really bad start to the season, so the pressure will grow on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as everyone knows. But I think the players we was in for throughout the course of summer, I do believe we'll probably reignite our interest in them in the January transfer window. So I think we'll probably go back in for Bruno Fernandes in January, because Bruno Fernandes was one of our main priority targets throughout the course of summer. And looking at we should have really got Bruno Fernandes, because I would have been excited about him. I would have been excited about the prospects of Bruno Fernandes playing alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield, because I think they would have complemented each other fantastically well. And don't forget, throughout the course of summer, was in search for a right winner as well. Don't forget, obviously towards the back end of the window, we was looking for the replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, when we plotted a late move for Mandzukic from Juventus and that, but I think the board had reservations about bringing Mandzukic, and even though he's got a good pedigree and he's had a good career, but they've got reservations about bringing him in, due to his age and that, because he's 33 years of age as Mandzukic. Obviously went in for Dybala as well in the summer transfer window and that. So definitely further more investment is needed in the squad. But Solskjaer had spoken about our recruitment policy throughout the course of summer and that, and analysing our recruitment policy isn't very, very good. Prior to the summer transfer window, in the recent windows, we didn't get anyone in January. Reflecting back last summer, we didn't get our number one targets and all that. So for me, definitely no further more investment is definitely nowhere needed in his squad. The news about Matteo Darmian as well. As I did give you an update yesterday, he's another player that's gonna. It's looking likely he's going to be leaving Manchester United. Reports came out yesterday saying that Darmian he's very very close to leaving Manchester United. Now he did say he's set to join Parma. He's set to join Parma for just over £1 million. So we're set to lose out on around £11 million, is it something like that? Because obviously, we paid just over £12 million for Darmian, back in 2015 from Torino. And I did say if he is to leave Man United, Darmian, he will make a return back to Italy, because he spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger, did Matteo Darmian. I think it did say according to Sky in Italy that Darmian is set to sign a 3-year contract with Parma, or is it a 2-year contract with an option of a third year and that. But yeah, Darmian definitely needs to leave the football club. It's no surprise that he's going to be leaving the football club, because obviously, he's served his 2 requirements anywhere, because obviously Darmian hasn't played so far in the league this season, wasn't even part of the pre-season squad. But I'm actually surprised, with the amount we're letting him go for. Basically, we're letting him go for next to nothing and that. So that's obviously, the frustrating part and that. But like I said, with Darmian, he's been at the club for years. He's actually made 92 appearances in all competitions for Manchester United. Obviously, he's won the FA Cup with us, the League Cup, the Europa League and that. Darmian, has found game time very, very difficult as a Manchester United player, so he has enjoyed very, very difficult time. I think his contract term with Man United does expire next year, and Darmian's only played 13 times for Manchester United, since December 2017. I think the last game he played was actually in our 2-0 defeat to Manchester City, back in April. But Darmian is now 29 years of age. Darmian is now 29 years of age and all that. But yeah, it's looking likely he's going to be leaving the football club, and he's going to be making a return back to Italy. So he's going to be joining Parma. I think we're letting him go for around 1.4, or is it 1.5 million or something like that as well. But it's pointless in being here, because obviously he's enjoyed a really really difficult time and that with the football club. But yeah, Matteo Darmian, I think he can play as a left back. He can also, play as a right back, and that he's made 92 appearances in all competitions. Like I said, I think 60 of those appearances have come in the Premier League and that. So it's looking likely, he's going to be making the move to Parma. But yeah, very very good, glad that Darmian is leaving. He did actually say yesterday that he was set to undergo his medical in Italy, sometime this weekend, and obviously this is a low move, by the way. He's going to be going to Parma permanently, so it's a permanent deal. So there's no loan deals or out involved in this. I think a few teams have been in for Matteo Darmian. I think there was talks about him, going to Inter Milan and that. But I think when he was in Italy, when he was younger, he did quite well. But Darmian has been here, since the Louis van Gaal and has sustained as well, quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. But I think he's the next player to leave Manchester United is Matteo Darmian. But like I did say, a hell of a lot of money is being invested into the football club, and it just proves, always spending big on players and, getting them Galactico players doesn't always guarantee you success, and this has just been proven with Man United in the last 6 years or so. And, I've got doubts now, is it going to work out under Ole Gunnar Solsjaker? And, I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's going to now, to be quite honest with you. I hate to say that, because I love Ole Gunnar Solsjaker a lot. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under the Alex Ferguson era and that, and, he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, and he did say at the start of the summer he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy and that. And Solskjaer, people talk about that he hasn't really got the managerial experience, to the highest level, and he hasn't got the managerial experience, to the highest level, and that, he did win a couple of Norwegian titles and mould. Solskjaer did well in his first 3 months as interim manager at Manchester United, last season and that. But it's just since he's got the job, since he got the job back in March earlier on this year, everything's has just seemed to have all gone wrong and that. But I hope to say that Solskjaer's got the stature, to get us in that commanded position, but I've got a lot of doubts about that. But even if now, at this moment in time, we had a manager with a proven pedigree, we had a manager, to the highest level, I still think they would still currently struggle with this Manchester United squad and that, because I analysed it, it isn't good enough, to win the league as yet. But yeah, I just hope to say it's going to work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But you can still say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding. I still think he needs at least one more window, to try and get a couple of more players in and that. But he's still in the process of rebuilding because the majority of this squad's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's only 3 players that he brought in this summer. This has only been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer as Manchester United manager. But we spent £148 million this summer on 3 players, and you can quite say in that aspect, was quite, was quite sensible with our recruitment and that, because, knowing us, usually we'd spend like £100 million on one player and that. But I thought £148 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, was quite reasonable. Yes, we did overpay for Harry Maguire. I thought, and Wan-Bissaka, I thought we got him for a reasonable figure and that. Some people may still think we overpaid for him and all that. We only paid 15 million with 3 million add-ons included for Daniel James and that. So it risen it up to around £18 million. But yeah, £148 million spent this summer, just under £400 million spent under Jose Mourinho and that. Over 200 million spent under Van Gaal, just under 67 million spent under David Moyes and that. We've seen players come in, and of course we've seen players go and that. But I did say in the last 6 years anyway, there has been cultural problems at the football club. But like I did say, it's not, you can't just blame the manager, it's also the players as well. We're not actually playing badly. Today we didn't play bad against Southampton. We just wasn't clinical enough in front of goal. You can put the vast majority of the blame on Rashford why we didn't win that game today. Southampton's goal, shouldn't really have happened. Victor Lindelof got beaten in the air quite easily. So there's few things you can pinpoint out in that game, that could have cost us today as well. Wolves, I thought we played well in the first half against Wolves, but I thought we was poor in the second half. In the Chelsea game, apart from the first 20 minutes, I thought we played really, really well in that. The Palace game, again, we had a lot of chances in that game. I think we had over 20 odd shots in the Crystal Palace game, but again, only managed to score 1 goal. So it's just proving, that we're not being clinical enough in the attacking third of the pitch. So I think we need someone in that can create more chances than that. And like I did say, with the likes of Rashford and Martial, they still haven't emulated to that level yet. I think they've got better, but they still haven't emulated to that level as yet. So for me, we have got a lot of aging up players in the squad. We've got a lot of experienced players. We've got quite a few fringe players. Obviously, the fringe players are like Marcus Rojo, Matteo Darmian, McTominay and that. They are obviously, the fringe players and that. But we have got quite a few upcoming players. And I think, the majority of the upcoming players, will get given their opportunities this season. That, to be fair, I thought the young players were at fruition throughout pre-season. I'm surprised also Angel Gomez didn't get the chance today, because I thought he may have been given the chance today, Angel Gomez, because I did say at the start of the season he's also going to be a big part of the squad this season. I did say Chong at some point this season, he should obviously get given his chances as well. He should, get given his chances as well. And yeah, and like I said, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. So I think it's around £968 million that's been spent in the last 6 years at Manchester United, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. And if you want to take into account what we spent under Alex Ferguson, obviously, it's way more than £1 billion that we've currently spent and that. But like I said, at this moment in time, we've got players on big contracts and that, and we should be doing better. And now we're not exceeding expectations, as we currently should be in that. And I also said at the start of the season that I don't only want us to improve this season, I want us to improve our record against the top 6 sides, and our record against the top 6 sides, was very, very disappointing last season. But we've got to get back into the Champions League this season. That's very, very imperative indeed, and looking likely at the moment that's obviously not going to happen. But yeah, like I said, 6th we finished last season. I think the lowest we finished, of what I know anyway, the lowest we finished was actually 7th under the David Moyes era. Reflecting back under the Alex Ferguson era, I think the lowest we finished was actually 3rd in that. But I said, regardless of our manager is, no one's gonna ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never going to replicate what we did under Alex Ferguson for 26, 27 successful years and that. But we just want to be back, to being a competitive elite level football club. And I already give you the reasons why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era, because at the time we appointed Mourinho in, we all thought it was going to work out under him. I said we initially appointed him in too late. Maybe we should have appointed Mourinho in, after Ferguson's retirement. And that, a lot of Man United fans, will tell you that. But for me, it didn't work out under Mourinho, because obviously you had bad disputes with the board, you had bad disputes with the top players. Reflecting back last summer, the board weren't, back in the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend into the football club and that. Jose, there was no sort of the right it was part of the bus football under Mourinho. There was no sort of winning philosophy under Mourinho. There was no sort of transfer strategy, under Jose Mourinho and that. And this is the reasons why it didn't work out under him, even though he was regarded as one of the best managers in the world. We did win the Europa League and the League Cup in Jose Mourinho's first season. And, I think, we're good enough to win the Europa League this season. That, we did it a couple of years ago. So I either want us to get top four this season or, of course, win the Europa League. Both of them would be brilliant, but the way things are going at the moment, I don't see, Man United currently doing this. I just thought, see it currently happening, to be quite honest with you. But at least at the start of the summer, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had worked out his transfer strategy. He said he wanted to recommend a number of young players in that can grow, develop, and emulate in superstars and that. So at least under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he had some kind of a transfer strategy in that. But like I said, there's a lot of people doubting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They're basically saying that he's never going to bring the fear factor back to the football club, because obviously that fear factor, hasn't been there, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But for me, so far this season, in the Premier League, the results haven't been good enough. Quite clearly, we haven't been scoring enough goals. We've already missed 2 penalties as well this season. Rashford missed a penalty against Crystal Palace. If that had gone in, we'd have won that game probably. Obviously, Pogba missed a penalty against Wolves. As well, and obviously, Paul Pogba, received a lot of criticism for that. In regards to Paul Pogba, I think overall he's had a pretty decent start to this season as Paul Pogba, but there's still uncertainty regarding his future. I think he probably will stay at Manchester United for now, so I think he'll stay at Manchester United for this season. But I think Paul Pogba has actually notified the club that he will not renew his contract with us, and he will wait until next summer to join Real Madrid and that. Don't forget the European transfer window does shut on the 2nd of September. Don't forget about that. But we do know for the entirety of the summer, that Paul Pogba's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid and that. But I did say anyway, it's very, very imperative that we keep Paul Pogba at the football club. And throughout the course of pre-season, for the majority of the summer, Solskjaer has spoken to Paul Pogba. He's spoken to the vast majority of our players throughout the course of the summer. But, Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is and that. And we have seen glimpses of how good Paul Pogba can be, because we have seen him at his best as a Manchester United player. And, when he's at his best, he's like 2 players in one. He's good at passing the ball is Paul Pogba. He's good at, feeding the attackers and that. I think you mainly see the best of Paul Pogba, when he's freed up and that. But, only 26 years of age, is Paul Pogba still got a hell of a lot of development minimum and that. He's been largely inconsistent, since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016 and that, Paul Pogba. I thought his stats, were quite impressive last season. 16 goals, 11 assists in 47 games and that. Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract on Man United with an option to extend by a further year and that. But for the entirety of this summer, basically, Real Madrid has been his first choice preferences, and Real Madrid has been his likely destination. That Real Madrid themselves this summer have spent a substantial amount. They've spent £300 million on. Is it around 5 players? I think they've generated some of that money back because, Real Madrid have managed to sell quite a few of their players and that. But, we've said throughout the course of summer, basically, when we're very adamant he's not for sale, but he did say, we quoted out that we would want around 150 or 160 million pounds. Some reports were saying that we wanted around 180 million pounds. That's just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. And that throughout the course of summer, there has been talks about Paul Pogba making a return back to Turin, because he did have 4 good years in Turin and that. Hasn't mainly replicated this at Manchester United, to be quite honest with you, but it hasn't only been this summer that Paul Pogba has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Reflecting back last summer, there was a lot of talks about Paul Pogba leaving, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho and that. And Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the football club and that. Paul Pogba's not only our most expensive signing, he's also one of the highest paid players at the football club. He's also a World Cup winner as well. He's Paul Pogba. But like I said, Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he said at the start of pre-season that Paul Pogba was in the process of leaving Manchester United, and he's fitting tied to the summer. He's been working on getting his client a transfer to Real Madrid, completed. But yeah, that's what it basically said. And obviously, recently again, Paul Pogba's brother, Matthias Pogba, he's come out and fueled more transfer speculation. He actually said, was it early on this week, that Paul Pogba could still end up signing for Real Madrid, because Matthias I think believes he knows how good probably Paul Pogba would represent Real Madrid and all that, but probably he'll stay for now. Will Paul Pogba probably will consider leaving next summer. If this inconsistency does continue with Manchester United, because a player of Paul Pogba's calibre and that wants to be up there challenging and winning silver, and of course he isn't experiencing this at Manchester United at the moment. So this is probably these probably the reasons why he wants to leave. And early on in the summer, Paul Pogba confirmed that he wanted to leave Man United. He did say, well, he actually publicly admitted that he wanted to leave Man United. He said he was seeking for a new challenge because he wanted to leave Man United, of course, to rejuvenate his career and all that. Obviously, there was talks about Paul Pogba getting the captaincy as well early on this summer in order, to convince him to remain at the football club and that. But yeah, so he's actually still uncertain around his future, but I think he probably now, because it's obviously coming towards the window, the European window's shutting in a couple of days' time, he'll probably stay at Man United for this season, then probably, will consider going to Real Madrid next summer. So I don't think Paul Pogba is going to renew his contract with the football club and that. But yeah, definitely one of the best midfielders in the world, when he does want to be. But like I said, we've got a history of spending big on players, like I said, and especially in recent years. Look how much money we've spent on players. We spent £75 million on Lukaku. We spent £89 million on Paul Pogba. We spent just under £50 million on Fred. Solskjaer did say also that he expects more from Fred this season. With Fred, I don't think is he played this season, Fred? I don't think he's even played a game in the Premier League this season, what I've seen anywhere. Obviously, the games he did play throughout pre-season, he was quite impressive with Fred. But, I think Fred has played, I can't remember, I think he has, I'm not too sure about that, I'll have to look it up. But, with Fred, I think he's more mobile and better on the ball than Nemanja Matic, and that I think is a better solution than Nemanja Matic. But again, like, I've got the same thoughts about McTominay, still don't know if he's got all the attributes to succeed as a Manchester United player. Fred was exceptional at Shakhtar Donetsk, so I will credit him in that aspect, but he hasn't mainly replicated this at Manchester United. So I thought we overpaid for him. We paid just under £50 million for Fred. We paid just under £60 million for Di Maria back under Louis van Gaal era, and that's probably another mistake by Man United, letting Di Maria go, because I thought he started well under the Louis van Gaal era and that. We paid £45 million up front for Bissaka with £5 million in add-ons, which should rise it to £50 million. So he's obviously on that list of one of our most expensive signings and that. So we have got a history of spending big on players. But even though we've been inconsistent in the last 6-7 years or so, we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. We've got an ecstatic stadium, we've still got a fantastic fan base and that. We are the most successful team in England, historically, 20 Premier League titles, 13 Premier League titles, 7 all the first divisions and that. But like I said, you can blame Solskjaer, you can also blame the team and that. But I thought, to be fair today, I thought Solskjaer tactically got it right today. It's just that today, wasn't clinical enough, just like wasn't against Crystal Palace and all that. So this is our problem, we're just not being, we're not being dynamic enough in the attacking third of the pitch, and that obviously, seems to be our problem. I did say there's actually I do think we look a bit more fluent now in that attacking further pitch, but we are creating chances, but we're just not putting them into the back of the net. And obviously, this seems to be a problem that does need to be addressed. So now the pressure will mount up on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe you'll get some Man United fans now demanding him out of the football club. Obviously, at the end of last season when we lost at home to Cardiff, you got a lot of Man United fans, demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. And I did say at that point, if there is no improvements this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, will be under serious threat. So if this carries on, I think, Solskjaer will be sacked from the football club and that. So we need to see improvements. I think, actually, our next game is Leicester, if I'm right. But with Southampton, they're not really that good. They wasn't that good last season. Obviously, they haven't had a great start to this season anyway. They lost to Burnley on the first game 3-0. They lost to Liverpool at home 2-1. They lost to Liverpool at home 2-1. Obviously, they've won the last two games before today. They beat Brighton 2-0 in the league. They won midweek against Fulham in the Carabao Cup and that, and they've got a draw today for Southampton, so they will be happy with the draw. But yeah, I am actually very, very disappointed indeed. But for me, we need to see improvements, definitely. We need to get more investment in the January transfer window. And, if this does continue, will Solskjaer be even here in the January transfer window? And there's question marks regarding that. But if Solskjaer is to go, who would you appoint into the football club? Who would you bring in? Obviously, before Solskjaer even came in, there was talk about Pochettino coming in and that. Pochettino could have done well at Manchester United. Obviously, he's got a lot more experience than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, Pochettino hasn't proven himself yet, though, because he hasn't won any silverware in that, so he hasn't got a proven pedigree in that aspect. Even though he's well Premier League proven, he's good at developing players, and I think now he's into his 6th season as Tottenham manager. Don't forget, at one point there was talks about us winning Zinedine Zidane, but obviously he made the return to Real Madrid and that, so obviously that's not going to happen in that. So what change do you want to see at Manchester United in that? I want to know in your comments below. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe. As always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.